Hi, this is Kurt from Ethos Reviews. I have a lot to address today, so I'm going to get right down to it. We're going to talk about baseball video games. And if you remember last week, we talked about MLB 10 The Show for PlayStation 3, and I said it was the greatest baseball game to date. And that is true. But today we're going to talk about a bit of an abridged chronological history of baseball video games dating back all the way to the Atari and up to the future with the PlayStation 3. So since there's a lot to cover, let's get down right to it.
Alright, so before we get started, let's take a look at how many baseball games that I actually have. Now, of course, this is not all of them. There are tons and tons more, but there are just sheer crazy amounts of baseball games available. I mean, this is just NES alone. Then I have some Super Nintendo over here, Nintendo 64, there's some Sega Genesis, and then some Xbox and GameCube. There's Mario Baseball, and then the show, and we already know about the show. But the first game we're going to talk about is this weird shaped cartridge right here, Super Challenge Baseball for the Atari. Let's get started. Yeah, so this is Atari Baseball right here, Super Challenge Baseball. And no matter what you do, you need two players for it. You can't play this alone. And there I am, awkwardly running to first base. And boy, oh boy, baseball games have really come a long way. It seems like I only control the first baseman, not really... I don't get it. Okay, so this is baseball for NES. And I'm the D team, and they're the A team. A team, huh? And as you can see, this one looks so much more advanced than the Atari version. And in comparison, this is a lot better. And a lot more fun. Well, the fielding's pretty awkward and slow. Incredibly slow. Otherwise, not bad. Up next is Baseball Simulator 1000, made in 1989. And this one actually has a lot more options. It has exhibition, season, and whatnot. And actual, well, not actual teams, they're false teams, but it's still pretty cool. And you get choice of stadiums too. I'm gonna pick outer space. And you can select pitchers, and you can change the lineup, whatever. But you know what? This game's actually pretty cool. And you can get some wacky power-ups and whatnot throughout the game. Graphics are pretty darn cool. Okay, up next is Baseball Stars for the NES. This is considered probably the best baseball game on the system, and it has tons of different options. And yes, it doesn't have any real players, but I mean, if you play as the American team, like I am right now, it has a whole bunch of false players, but they have names like Babe and Pete, and you know who they are, Pete Rose, Babe Ruth, and whatnot. And it's a pretty cool game. There's lots of different features, like making a season and everything, and it's pretty advanced for its time. Okay, moving on to the Super Nintendo now. This is Ken Griffey Jr.'s Major League Baseball, made in 1994. And this one is actually pretty cool. It has all the real teams. It also has all the real stadiums, but for some weird reason, it has no real players except one. And that's Ken Griffey Jr. What is interesting about this game, though, is that it has a lot of fake players on it, yes, but a lot of the players for the Seattle Mariners on this team are named after Nintendo employees, and that's because Seattle is actually the majority owner of the Seattle Mariners. So that's pretty cool. Okay, now onto the Nintendo 64. This is bottom of the ninth, and this is definitely bottom of the barrel. This game is horrible, it's ugly, it's blurry, it's very slow, and just stay away from it. There's far better alternatives on the Nintendo 64 for baseball. Another really good game for the N64 was the All-Star Baseball series. I have it, All-Star Baseball 99 here for N64, and this one is actually pretty cool. It has real announcers, Michael Kay and John Sterling, and it's the best looking baseball game on the N64, much better than Triple Play 2000 even, when it came out a year before. And it plays a lot more smoothly too. This is MVP Baseball 2005 for the Xbox, and from until this point, this was the greatest baseball game ever made. Certainly to be outdone by the show, but this was no slouch. and this was a step above any other baseball game that came out before it, and the pitching is awesome, and that's what makes a great baseball game, in my opinion, is the pitching. You can see that it introduced the meter technique of throwing, as you see the meter peering over Pedro Martinez's head like that. Now that is some great baseball.
Alright, so let's take a breather for a second. I put you through a whirlwind of different baseball games, all the way from the Atari up to the Xbox. And we've seen the progression throughout all the systems. And of course, this is not even all the baseball games that were made. There were tons and tons more. And to have them all, I mean, you gotta be one hardcore collector to have every single baseball game ever made. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, let's take a little diversion for a second and talk about Mario Baseball. There's Mario Superstar Baseball for GameCube and Mario Sluggers for Wii. Both are really pretty cool.
For the Nintendo GameCube, there's Mario Superstar Baseball, and I thought this was really a lot of fun. It's actually the reason why I bought a GameCube in the first place. I had bought my GameCube fairly late in the game, and I gotta tell you, this game was definitely made it worth it. And you can customize your teams, you can select captains, and you can put all your own teams together. Some players work better with each other than others. And you know what? The game plays really well too. It's not particularly deep, but the graphics are fun and vibrant and colorful, and it's just like, and you have a small selection of stadiums, but they all have their own unique little talents to them. Okay, so this is Mario Sluggers for Wii. This is actually pretty cool in itself. It's very similar to Mario Baseball for GameCube, but it has a lot of different features. Definitely the graphics are a lot better, and it uses motion controls very well. Certainly not quite as perfect as like Wii Sports with its one-to-one swinging the baseball bat, but it's actually really effective and very fun. Again, not particularly deep. A little bit more options here or there than Mario Baseball, but overall, it's actually a better experience on the Wii. I'm sure you all know by now, if you watched the last Ethos video review, that MLB 10 The Show is the best baseball game to grace the video game platforms. It really is the closest you could ever get to actually experiencing a real baseball game. And with its great pitching, its very intelligent pitching, its very realistic hitting and fielding, this game is baseball personified as a simulation. Nothing gets better than this.
Okay, so there you have it. That is MLB 10 The Show, and that was the best baseball game ever made to date. There'll be others. There'll be next year, and the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that. And I'm sure it'll only get better with time, but as of now, MLB 10 The Show is where it's at. And so we've seen the history of baseball. I mean, again, it's an abridged version. For the interest of time, I couldn't even show all the games that I have. But I got one more for you, and it takes a look into the future.
Alright, so it is now, we take a look into the future. The year is 2020, and robots are now have their own baseball teams and battle humans to the death. Well, not quite death, but oh, well, he's just about to belt a home run. Yeah, well, see, look, the outfield is made out of glass. There's only one section of the field that is actually, like in the center field, where you can hit a home run. It's actually a pretty challenging game, and also, it's a good look into the future. It's only 10 years from now, and baseball is a co-ed sport. So I guess this is what happens after all that HGH and steroid mess. They're just going to let robots play. Pretty cool.
Alright, so there you have it. That is baseball video games at Ethos Reviews. We covered a lot of ground here today, and from Atari to PS3, and even a look into the future. So if you want the my opinion on the best baseball games that I have, I guess, I would say stick to Baseball Stars for NES. Baseball Simulator 1000 is really good. Definitely MLB 10 The Show. I can't say that enough. MVP Baseball for Xbox is really good. And Super Baseball 2020 for Super Nintendo. So those are really the best of the best, I would say. So that'll do it, and please visit our website, ethosreviews.angelfire.com, for all the latest written reviews from us at Ethos. So I'll see you next time, and thank you as always for watching.